Welcome to this session. I am Professor Naval Kishore from School of Management Studies, Indira Gandhi National Open University, New Delhi. You have already studied various aspects of public enterprises and forms of public enterprises like government organization and public corporation. Today, I am going to discuss about government company. According to Indian Companies Act, a government company is a company in which 51% or more of the total paid up capital is held by the central government or any state government or by many state governments or partly central government and partly by one or more state government. It must be clear to you that majority of the share, that is 51%, is from the government sector. That means out of the total paid up capital, 51% is being held by the government, either it may be central government or state government, or it may be partly by central, partly by state government also. And obviously it is registered under Indian Companies Act and it follows the procedures of the Indian Company Act. Sometimes you must have heard about mixed ownership. What happens? The government company where both government as well as the private entrepreneurs are shareholders, that is known as mixed ownership company. Because sometimes government might need some expertise, might need some management techniques, might need more investment, so on and so forth. In that case, government may also set up mixed ownership company. Government establishes the company form of organization for the following reasons. The first, public interest. You must be knowing that it is the prime duty of the government to protect the public interest. For that purpose, government acquires shares of the existing private enterprises when they are unprofitable or if they have become insolvent or if they are under the financial crisis. So government acquires such companies so that the interest of the company may be protected. For example, Eastern Shipping Corporation and Hindustan Shipyard Limited, the government acquired both the companies as a part of government company. Next is mixed ownership. As you all know that sometimes government requires capital, sometimes you need technical know-how, sometimes you need expert guidance, etc., etc. And if government is desirous to initiate all these things, government may go for the mixed sort of ownership where the partly government may provide and partly they may take from the private sector enterprises. For example, Hindustan Machine Tools, Hindustan Shipyard Limited, Heavy Engineering Corporation, Hindustan Cables, etc., etc. Government, these are the examples of mixed ownership companies. Next is industrial promotion. As you are aware that government encourage industrial promotion. Therefore, government establishes some company which really facilitates that industrial activities. These companies may directly not connected with the manufacturing activity, but they are expected to provide feasible commercial projects. For example, National Industrial Development Corporation and National Small Industries Corporations. They have been established for the promotion of industry. Next is promotion of trade or commerce. You also know well that government wants to promote trade and commerce. For that purpose, government establishes such sort of company which may be able to promote this trade and commerce. For example, there is State Trading Corporation. There is Export Credit and Guarantee Corporations, and these corporations exclusively they have been established for the promotion of trade. Next is lack of incentives. See, the private entrepreneurs may not be interested to set up the industry for the public, completely for the public interest, for the social services, because there may be heavy investment, because there may be lack of profit, because there may be huge gestation period, etc., etc. In such cases, government may establish the company so that they can serve the society also and they may earn the profit also. Let us analyze the features of the public, that is government company. The features are: first, created under Indian Companies Act. As you all are aware that the government company is created by the Indian Companies Act. Therefore, they follow the whole range of procedures of the Indian Companies Act. For example, registration, memorandum, articles, meetings, capital structures, accounting, auditing, etc., etc. These all activities are governed by provisions of the Companies Act. Next is, it is a corporate body. It is a corporate body because it has got legal entity. It is also treated as an artificial person because the company exists in the eyes of law. You can sue the company or company can sue you. You can enter into the contract with the company or company may enter into the contract with any of the persons. That means it has the corporate legal entity. Next is a scope for private participation in the capital. You all are aware that the 51% of the share is being held by the government. But if it is partly owned by the government and partly owned by the private persons, in that case, there is a scope that private sector may participate by providing the capital to the company. Next is managed by a board of directors. As you all are aware that there is a board of directors and all of the directors, depending upon the extent of private participation, all are appointed by the government. And the government may give representation to various interests group, that is stakeholders also. Next is enjoys financial independence. See, the government company may use and reuse the revenue which has been derived from sale of goods and services. It can also borrow money from the financial institutions and also from the public at large. Next is independent staffing. As you all are aware that the staffing of the government company is independent in the sense that it does not employ, or it is not like the departmental organization where the people are from the civil servants. They are appointed by the company as per own terms and conditions of the company, and the company regulates its personal policies according to its own articles of association. Next is independent accounting and auditing system. The company is exempted from the accounting and audit laws and procedures which are applicable in the government departments. The accounting practices are more or less based on the commercial enterprises also, because the auditors are chartered accountants and they are appointed by the government on the advice of the comptroller, auditor and general. Next is annual reports. The annual reports and accounts are to be presented to the legislature as per the Companies Act. Now with this, let us make a distinction between government and non-government companies. Paid up capital. In the case of government company, at least 51% of the paid up capital is held by the government. The total capital owned by one or more governments should be 51% or more. Whereas, in the case of non-government companies, major share of the paid up capital is held by the private individual. Next is auditor appointment. As you all are aware of that, the government company, the auditor is in government company, the auditor is appointed by the government, and that appointment is based on the advice of the Comptroller and Auditor General of India. Sometimes maybe CAG himself may carry the audit operation of the government companies as per Companies Act, whereas the auditor of a non-government company is appointed by general body of that particular company. So in the non-government company, auditor is appointed by the general body. In the government company, the auditor is appointed by the government, and that too on the advice of Comptroller and Auditor General of India. Next is annual reports. The annual reports are laid before the Parliament if it is the central government company, and legislature if it is the state government company. But in case of non-government company, the audit reports are laid before the general body. Provisions of the Companies Act. Central government has been empowered to exempt any provision of the Companies Act from applying to a government company. Sometimes central government may have nothing to do in regard to the provisions of the Companies Act relating to a non-government company. So in the non-government company, they work as per their own memorandum of association, where in the government company that works completely under the Companies Act. Next is merits. The merits of the government company are: first, easy to form. As you all must be knowing that it is easier for the government to pass or to form a joint stock companies, because in the earlier cases maybe legislature etc. a lot of complications are there. But in this case, in the case of the company, whenever government just feels some need of setting new activity, government may float company. So it can avoid all the problems of getting bill passed by the legislature, which is required in the statutory corporation. Next is easy to bring changes in the constitution. See, look, because it is a company, so in the company, government may favor this form because it is easy to bring changes in the constitution through amendments to articles. If there is any change in the constitution, if that change is required, government may go for the amendment of the constitutions, and it is easier for them to make change because it is fully owned by the government, and the government has all the right to amend the articles of association of the company, and it may pass the resolution in the meeting for this purpose. Next is facilitates taking over a running enterprise. See, in this form of the company, government may also take the running enterprise sometimes due to interest of the people. For example, after acquiring the equity of the Burma Shell group of companies, the government changed their name as Bharat Petroleum Corporation Limited, which now operates as a government company. Next is facilitates private participation. See, in this form of the company, the private participation may be facilitated because it can easily do by selling a part of equity of a government company to the public at large, and by selling that equity, the private participation can be allowed or can be permitted. Next is easy to transfer ownership. Sometimes what happens, if you want to transfer the ownership of a particular sort of the business in the form of the company, it is easier because the transfer of ownership becomes easy by selling the shares of to the private party. If the government sells share to the private party, it can easily transfer the ownership to the private party. Next is more autonomy. It has almost all the advantages to gain the autonomy because it has its own charter, autonomy of operations, self-sufficiency in finance, freedom in personal matters, etc., etc. Therefore, from the business point of view, the company, that government company, has more autonomy. Next is flexibility in operations. As you all are aware that employees of the government company are not from the civil servants. Therefore, the red tapeism problem may be taken care of, which is very much prevalent in the departmental stores, in the departmental form of organization, because you follow that recruitment, selection, etc., strictly as per government norms. But here the decision making and prompt actions may be taken because there is a flexibility in operation. It is run by its own company form of business organization, so it has in their own memorandum of association about the operations, and then it follows that operation through memorandum of association. Next is about limitations. Evades constitutional responsibility because it is created for a specific approval of Parliament, and Parliament does not discuss the reasons for setting up a government company or its constitution. Thus, it may evade constitutional responsibility sometimes. Next is government interference. The government can revise memorandum and articles of association as per their own direction. So, the constitution of a government company can be altered without any public discussion, but public scrutiny is necessary in the case of statutory corporation. So, directly or indirectly in the company form of organization also, government may interfere. Next is fear of public accountability. The directors and chief executives of government companies always have the fear of public accountability because by having that fear, they may not take initiative in breaking new grounds and entering into new areas of activities because they may be scared of that public accountability. Next is public criticism. The performance of the company is shown in the annual reports of the concerned ministry. And as you all are aware that these annual reports are placed before the Parliament or a state legislature. Therefore, that may expose the enterprise to the public may criticize about the functioning of that company. Next is lack of professional management. The directors of the government company are mostly appointed by the government. So they may be lacking in business efficiency, which is found in private enterprises. So you have learnt about the company, its features, suitability, merits, limitations, difference between public company and private company. Thank you very much.